Hey, Christopher here with another episode of Geared Up for Summer, where I'm sitting down with Amy of Pack and Paddle to talk about taking a hiking adventure. But before we get into this video, let's roll that beautiful B-roll. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amy.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to sit down with you.
For those who don't know who you are and what you do, introduce yourself and what you do here.
Cool. I am with Pack and Paddle. I am the manager here, and I get to not only work with our employees, but also with customers as they come in to get geared up for adventures.
Nice. And that's exactly what this series is about. And today we are talking about hiking. So where do you get started? Let's just say that I'm a new person walking in for the first time, looking to take my next adventure, but not really sure what I need to look for. Where would you start?
Absolutely. So if you're coming in the door and you're wanting to go on your first hike or you've hiked before, I'm going to ask you about your previous experiences. Have you, had, and the number one thing that comes out with previous experiences, if they've had any on vacations and so on, is footwear. So I always start people with, let's get you fitted. Let's get you in a good pair of shoes.
Why would someone want to start with shoes?
Well, starting with shoes is the same thing that I talk to people that come in with different foot issues. Your body alignment starts at your feet. Your feet are supporting your entire body, and it's going to greatly change whether you enjoy that hike or not.
Now, what kind of clothing should someone be looking at when they start to hike?
I recommend using sun protective clothing. Especially in Louisiana, I like to hike year round. It gets hot here. Yes. And adding a layer of sunscreen to your skin makes you even hotter. So I use long sleeve, I use hooded garments, and I look like a little Casper walking around, but it makes a big difference in enjoying your trip, having, long, lightweight, breathable clothing on.
What do you recommend to make sure folks stay hydrated? Because that's something we're talking about off camera, that making sure you've got that is important. What are the reasons why?
So we have a trip program where we guide hikes, we guide paddle trips. And in doing those pre-trip calls, the number one thing I say is make sure that you bring 2 liters of water with you, at least, and that you're also hydrating the day before, because you're getting your body used to using that water, and you're less likely to need to use the bathroom as much on the trail if you're hydrating ahead of time. Speaking
of water packs, what are some of the ones that you would recommend for folks to bring when they're on a trip?
I use water bottles. I just prefer to have either a Nalgene bottle or a soft-sided Hydro Pack or Platy bottle that once I've drank it, I can roll it up easily and it's compact inside my bag. But majority of our customers like to use the bladders that you described that are inside of your backpack, and they end up hydrating more because it's a hose coming around for them to drink through.
Now, is there any other gear or accessory that someone should maybe consider looking at when they're starting to go out and hike? Speaking of inclines and all those things.
I highly recommend hiking poles. I use hiking poles just to set my pace if I'm hiking on flat ground. And then I also use it to help transfer some of my load. We're not used to carrying around, a 10 to 15 to 20 pound pack with different accessories and snacks and water on a daily basis. So having 4 legs on the ground makes a big difference.
So last question here, what are some of the great nearby locations here in Acadiana that folks can take a look at?
Oh my goodness, you're pulling at my heartstrings here. I really enjoy the Nature Station. It's right here in Lafayette. They just put in a new bridge over the coulee, so it connects their wooden boardwalk areas to their trail system on the other side of the coulee. And then not much further is Lake Martin. Lake Martin has a hiking trail around the backside. And the majority of the way you can see the water.
Yes,
and
the alligators.
Yes, yes.
So if you're not in alligators, maybe not your favorite spot, I love it. That is one of my favorite places to go. It's my happy place.
Yeah, and then you can venture a little more north out to Lake Chico. And Chico State Park is, it's beautiful for paddling, but also they have great hiking trails.
They do, VP for life.
And then I start traveling a little more north up to the Kincaid Reservoir area and Lake Valentine, great areas to paddle as well as hike, so you can turn it into a double trip.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
I've never been, so when you were describing it, I was super pumped
to
try to check it out.
It's got some sandbars, it's got great water for swimming. I don't have to worry as much about letting my dog swim and so on because it's less aggressive as far as alligators go.
So there's one more, we're talking about the waterfalls.
Yes. So most people are like, what?
In Louisiana.
But you travel just north of St. Francisville and you have our waterfall hike. And it's ups and downs and it's really worth it, but you're gonna be climbing out of there afterwards, so you gotta be ready for it.
Yeah, one of the things we've noticed about St. Francisville is that it is interesting because the terrain starts to change a little bit here, you know, where you get in mostly flatland here in Acadiana and this area. When you start moving a little bit north, it does get a little more hilly. I've played golf in that area, so that's one of the reasons. I've never been to Clark Creek, but I've played golf in St. Francisville, and there are extreme dips, and I'm like, this is very different than Lafayette.
Well, make sure that you take swimwear because there's some good swimming holes there too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, this is really great. I feel like now you have helped us to take our first hiking adventure. We now know some great places, some things to consider, staying hydrated. This is really great. Amy, thank you so much for sharing all this today.
You're welcome.
Well, everyone, if you like this content, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to stay up to date with everything we are producing. What a great video to watch if you're about to start your new adventure. So as you do so, we hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you in the next video.